Paso. It's time for the Sun Bowl Preview Show, presented by U.S. Bank on the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield. U.S. Bank. Life keeps moving. We're here for every step. U.S. Bank. Member FDIC. Tonight's show is also brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino. Earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest with more slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Plus, Turf Club Sportsbook is now open. Northern Quest. Yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. To preview tomorrow's matchup between the Cougs and Chimps, let's go live to St. Rogers Depot in El Paso. Here's Matt Chazanel.
Boy, it is so great to be with you. We are live here in El Paso, Texas, alongside QB10, and we'll have guests. We'll have Pat Chun. We'll have the executive director of the Sun Bowl on. We're going to have Robbie Tobeck on, 14-year NFL pro, an all-pro AB. It is so rare that it is so great just to be here. I mean, it's always great to be here, but it's extra great. We are here. We're ready to play ball against Central Michigan. A winding road it has been.
It feels extra special at this point, obviously. And, you know, it's fun that we all get to come together. We get to see it. The season gets to cap off in a way that, you know, after Apple Cup win was so special, and then you get another chance to get out on the field. Absolutely. You get another chance to get out on the field against a good Central Michigan team and finish strong under this new regime and Jake Dickert.
For those listening who are not able to join us live here, we're in a really cool spot, exposed brick, big warehouse that's been converted, and we're having food, and there's some beverages, and a lot of Cougs. Great to see everybody who is here in attendance here in El Paso for this Sun Bowl. And I want to roll through some of these special moments, and then we're going to get to our Director of Athletics, Pat Chung. And I can't wait to talk to Pat about what this week has been like for him. We started the week playing the Miami Hurricanes. We're now about to play the Central Michigan Chippewas here in El Paso, Texas. But, you know, the season starts 1-3, AB, and you lose the opener to Utah State. And then you go to Berkeley, right? And you win at Cal 21-6, and you win 3 straight Pac games. And Jake Dickert staples this defense nationally in relevant terms, in terms of forcing turnovers, in terms of key takeaways. And now the program is off and running with Coach Dickert.
Yeah, I look at kind of the springboard, you know, that the back half of this season, you know, means to the Washington State football program and the coaches and the kids on the roster and kind of where this team and program can go from here. I mean, it's pretty special, honestly, considering all of the turmoil in the middle of the year and where it could have gone to have Jake Dickert come in and really right the ship and then bring in now a staff of guys that, you know, I'm really excited about. And that's there's some fun things there, some fun connections there. But again, I think about the resiliency of this senior class of the kids on the roster because, you know, I've been in those locker rooms. It's not easy, right? And so to be able to you know, see them really bear the fruits of that labor and the work. And look, you look at some of the, you know, the losses, particularly Utah State's gone on to have an incredible year, right? Beat Oregon State in a bowl game, and they're a good football team. BYU obviously was great all year. And so, you know, you see that, and you see that it's a team that, you know, stumbled a little bit along the way, but in the end finished so strong. And most importantly, right, is heading to a bowl game for the 6th straight year if you don't count 2020.
Yeah, chance to win 8 games this year, right? Absolutely. 6-3, finished toward the top of the Pac North. And in this game tomorrow, right, you have all-time producers in Coug history, okay? You have Jihad Woods, who has 419 tackles, 4th all-time in Coug history in tackles. An incredible career that started with a forced fumble of Sam Darnold on a Friday night game against USC in Pullman.
Yeah, I mean, Jihad Woods, you go down the list, right? I mean, Jihad Woods, unbelievable Coug. I mean, just been through it all. You've been a leader the whole way. Justice Rogers, I mean, Bellevue kid, right? Former quarterback, turns middle linebacker, has been a stalwart on that defense. Armani Marshall, walk-on from Spokane, that's become one of the best nickel players in the league. I mean, I love as I think about that the guys that, you know, obviously aren't playing, Liam Ryan, Abe Lucas, and Max Borghi. I mean, again, I go back to the group that has helped kind of build off of what, you know, Luke Falk and Gabe March did. They added on top of that, and that is the senior class.
Yeah, I mean, it's really been a special group, and George Hicks is kind of this unspoken converted corner, right? The surprise of the year, really. Doesn't get a lot of praise. Had a key pick to beat the Beavers in what was a really fun game on the Palouse on a gorgeous fall day. I mean, it's just been in its own way. It's been an unforgettable year in a way that it will be remembered forever in its own way, and a chance to cap it off with a bowl win.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of the bowl prep and part of having a bowl game, too, is we get to see what's next. And that's what's kind of exciting about, I look at the offensive side of the football. We get to see a little bit of a remake of the offensive line, kind of a preview of what that group is going to be as you look at next year. Christian Hillborn, true freshman, starting at right tackle from the state of Utah. He's a really good-looking player, 6'5", 319 pounds. He's the future of the right side of that offensive line for Washington State. And so seeing some of those guys, Maka Fafita obviously has kind of cemented himself on that offensive line. But we're going to see, that offensive line group come together, and a running back in Nakia Watson that, a lot of folks probably don't know about, that transferred from Wisconsin and is going to probably be the guy tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to seeing him because he's a really good-looking player who's kind of earned his way to get to Washington State. And it's going to be fun. His longest career run, guess who it's against?
Is it Central Michigan?
It is Central Michigan.
That's right. In 2019.
Yeah.
He played against the Chippewas. Yeah. You had 29, was it a 20-yarder?
27-yarder.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. So Nakia, Texas kid from Austin, Texas, has a chance to have a really big moment tomorrow. Let's take a break. Let's do this. Let's take a break. Let's get Pat Chun up here, who's done fantastic work this week. We'll talk to Pat, our director of athletics. We're live here in El Paso, Texas, getting set for the Sun Bowl. As we take a break, we'll come back and talk to Pat Chun next.
Which would you rather be? An armchair quarterback? Or an on the edge of your cushy leather seat chair quarterback? Turf Club Sportsbook is now open at Northern Quest with the most modern, luxurious, and exciting sports wagering experience around. So you can bet, watch, and win like never before. Right here in the heart of the action. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer. Now open at Northern Quest.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
This is Drew Bledsoe, and you're listening to Cougar Football.
Bledsoe calls his play, has the ball, throws a home run ball from the end zone to Bobo. Oh! Washington State!
On the Washington State Sports Network.
It's a new season. Get ready for more men's and women's college sports excellence. Trophies will be awarded in June to schools who take the top spot in the 2021-22 Learfield Directors Cup. The premier award recognizes one winning institution in all competitive divisions. Follow your favorite team's progress as seasonal standings are announced at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at directorscup.org. The crowning achievement in college athletics.
This Cougar football tailgating moment is brought to you by Canoe Ridge Vineyards, proud partner of Washington State University Athletics. For this week's bowl game matchup against Miami, smart Cougar tailgaters know to pair award-winning Canoe Ridge wines with a crowd-pleasing pregame meal. Your mealtime roster will score big points with Canoe Ridge wines backing it up. Canoe Ridge Vineyards, representing the best of award-winning Washington wines with more than 73 critical scores of 90-plus points. Come visit us at our Walla Walla tasting room or at CanoeRidgeVineyard.com. Go Cougs!
Back here live, we're in El Paso, Texas. Great to be here with everybody. We're previewing the Sun Bowl. Alongside QB10, yours truly, we have our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun. We're putting you to work here tonight, and we thank you very much for taking the time. What has your week been like?
Can I start off with something first?
Please.
We all love Alex Frank.
Yes, we do.
A lot of respect for Alex Frank.
Yes.
Would never detract what his record in the Apple Cup is. But thank God you're not the last quarterback to lead us to a victory in Seattle. So I'm pumped we can come. Yeah, it's like about time. I know the way you're wired. That's not something. That was something you're ready to pass that torch. 100%. So I'm glad we can move on from that. So.
Yeah, no, that's the right way to start this discussion. Yeah. There's no doubt. On the heels of that, we had a rematch against Miami in El Paso.
Yes.
Right? From 2015, it's been, 7 years. Let's re-rack it.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
And so what happened? They announced they were pulling out. Did your phone explode? And then
I tell everyone, to Miami's credit, they were over-communicative. I mean, other than Christmas Day, like someone from our staff, including me, talked to Miami almost every single day. And I was probably on the 24th was my last conversation with their athletic director. And they were very transparent on where they were at. And I told them what time we were taking off from Spokane. I said, if there was any chance you could let us know, or get whatever you guys need to go through, or to get cleared before then, that would be helpful to us. And I'm Jake sitting right behind me. I said, well, I haven't heard anything. I said, they said to turn off your phone. So I'm shutting this thing down. And by the time we landed, nothing came up. And I thought, all right, we're clear. And literally, it was almost like 2 hours and 1 minute to the dot from when we landed. I got the call from Miami. It's like, hey, we can't make it. And that was, I think we're at a place at Washington State, good, bad, or indifferent, is we can handle news. And, I think us as an athletic department, our staff that's here on site, we just went into a mode already because we knew this may have been coming. We're all, we all started to make some calls, and you knew what teams were available. We all have relationships with different schools to figure out what's real or what's not. But I think what level set me right away was, if we told the team, like if I get that call at like 4:08 or 4:09, and then we tell the team like 5, they're literally in a team meeting. Mm-hmm. Like it's the first team meeting at the bowl. So then Bernie Olivas is on site there, and we leave the room, me, him, and I think Brian Blair, Chris Park, and Jason, our Bill Stevens, and Jason, our football ops person. We leave to go sit in the lobby, and all of a sudden, not 5 minutes later, you hear this loud burst of cheer. Yeah. So then Jake walks out like a minute after that. I'm like, how'd you get them fired up? He's like, oh no, they're happy to be. We're still going to Top Golf tonight, so they're fired up. So but that is Washington State football. I mean, nothing rattles these guys at this point in life. They've been through so much, and that's kind of all right. We got to get this thing figured out. We got to figure out if we can get another opponent here. And by the time it got to about, I think I talked to the Central Michigan AD probably around 10 o'clock our local time here. Okay. She was actually on a plane flying to Tucson, and just made it clear to them that, hey, I talked to our bowl. We want you guys out here. And then I think it was about 2 o'clock the next day. And a lot of the thing I think I mentioned to you earlier, really what took the most time was sifting through all the rumors and then trying to figure out what teams can or can't play. Like there's teams that have dispersed. We at Washington State were not going to ask our team to play beyond December 31st. So if you want to know how committed your Cougs were, a lot of them we did allow, like you could go home for Christmas. We had a vast majority of them decide to stay in Pullman and give up Christmas to make sure we could get down here. So that says everything about this team, and we were not going to ask this team to give up both Christmas, New Year's Eve. They have only a week of school before getting ready for before spring semester. They have a week off the first week of January. So we said and we already booked all the flights to disperse. So it's like we're playing this game 10 a.m. It's the only time we're going to do it. So then as the day, and so it just got to a point, we knew Central Michigan was going to be the only option. Once we got the call from them that, we got a call, actually the Tucson Bowl actually called me directly, and then we just made it clear to them that, hey, we're 100% committed to the Sun Bowl. If you guys are going to go find another opponent, it's not going to be Washington State. We're committed to this in El Paso, and I mean, it's well documented, the differences between the Sun Bowl and the Tucson Bowl. I mean, they don't even compare. It's like,
the Sun Bowl is the second oldest bowl.
Yeah.
It's the Rose Bowl and then the Sun Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been around 100 years.
Yeah. Basically. So then Bernie Olivas went to work. He negotiated a deal with the MAC to get them here, and then the MAC had to negotiate a deal to get themselves released from their Tucson Bowl commitment. And I think it was 6 o'clock. We had Bernie tell the team, and back on. So it was 25 hours of not knowing who our opponent was. But I mean, you guys have been on our football team. We practice normal.
Right.
I mean, this football team just went to work that morning and practiced without knowing who the opponent is.
Well, and the reality is, I mean, hearing you tell that story, but also as you look at the landscape of the, kind of the way the bowls have played out, this is atypical to be able to tie this together, right?
True.
I mean, how fortunate are we to have this game? Because how many bowls have gotten canceled or not been able to fill those spots? Because, like you said, logistically, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, it was probably like on the 21st. It was Monday morning, 8 a.m., because he was joking around. The Wake Forest AD called me because he was joking around. I said, I know you don't get to work before 8, so I'm calling you at 8. So that's why I remember it was 8 o'clock. But their game, he knew that they were in trouble with A&M from what I was hearing. He's in the ACC. He had heard that there may have been some issues with coming up with Miami. He's like, maybe we can figure out a way to work Gator Bowl, Sun Bowl. But that really got my radar up to say, oh, my gosh. Because we've kind of hit this kind of lull point with COVID. Now, all of a sudden, fast forward, we saved UW from a loss last night in men's basketball. Kyle's going to get pissed when he hears me say that. But COVID saved UW from taking it on the chin from our guys at Pullman. But we got to navigate this because it's unfortunate reality. I feel terrible for Kyle. Like, they were ready to go. But we are the ones that got hit with COVID, and we got to do what's right for our team. And we obviously, I mean, that's first and foremost what we do. But, we just got to get through one more football game tomorrow. And when toe meets ball, I think all of us will be relieved that, hey, we got through this 21 season, and with all its ups and downs, twists and turns. And I think I told you guys earlier, this week I think will pay such great dividends once we're back in Pullman, because the team building, team bonding that I joked around, for those who don't know, like you guys know this, Mike Leach would always take the guys to Lewiston for a week, and we'd stay at Lewis and Clark, and it was an experience designed to be tough. So I joked around, this is like Leach camp except fun this week for our guys. But it's been awesome to watch these guys just interact, and how fractured we were at a certain point with just offense versus defense, and what's going on with our football program. And you just see we're a football team, and it's going to stink tomorrow that we don't have Max and we don't have Abe and Liam's hurt, and we got some guys that aren't here, but a vast majority of this 22 team is going to play tomorrow. And you see what the leadership that's emerged this week, you know that's going to start to mean something 2 weeks from now when voluntary workouts begin, because coaches are not around. This is going to be R.J. Stone's team, Brendan Jackson's team. You go right down the list. It's going to the upperclassmen are positioned to take this thing over. And the group here heard Jake Dicker talk this morning. We've seen what he's been able to do, and he's for his own sake, hopefully he never is in more adverse situation than he was this last year. And I think what we're going to do offensively, go back to some things that we know worked extraordinarily well for us at Washington State, kind of a little bit modified from there. And you're really excited about what could be around the corner, but we got to get through tomorrow, and we got to send these seniors out. These guys, the guys you brought up before, Jihad Woods, Justice Rogers, you go right down the list. These are guys that bleed crimson and gray. And these are guys that are going to be in the parking lots celebrating with Cougs down the road. And Alex, you know, this place never leaves you.
Never.
Yeah, and so these are guys that have poured their hearts and soul into this program, have been to the highest of the highs, lowest of lows, and man, it'd be wonderful to send these guys out with a W in their last bowl game.
Do you have a chance? Can we keep you one more segment?
Oh, sure.
Okay, let's do this. I'm up.
You want to bore your listeners?
No. It's fascinating, really. I mean, it's unprecedented. I mean, this whole week is unprecedented. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We're live here with our Director of Athletics, Pat Chung, talking ball here before the Sun Bowl as we get set against Central Michigan.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
You may be eager to break ground on a new outdoor project, but never just start digging. Buried electric and natural gas lines can be anywhere. It's the law to call 811 at least 2 business days before you dig. Spray paint white lines showing your dig zone, and a crew will mark the utility lines. Mark accuracy zone is within 2 feet of the mark, so always hand dig to expose the line first. Call 811 before you dig. The service is free for residential customers. Avista, we just want you to be safe.
This is former Coug Eric Coleman.
Off intercepted, touchdown coming into the end zone, Eric Coleman.
You're listening to Cougar Football. Go Cougs.
This is Cougar Basketball.
Lowry's step back 3, top of the yard. Got it! Hit in his face! Turnaround stuff.
Join us all season as Kyle Smith and the Cougs look to make some noise in the Pac-12 and beyond.
Roberts with an answer. Got it left side. For the lead at 3. Got it. TJ Barba hits it.
It's only on your home for Cougar basketball, the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
It's time to bring the big game to your backyard. With battery power made by Steel. Our AK Homeowner Series battery tools start at just $199.99. Find yours at over 10,000 local dealers. Steel is a proud supporter of your Washington State Cougars. Real Steel. Find yours. All prices SNW SRP.
Back here live in El Paso, Texas. We're talking ball here with our Director of Athletics, Pat Chun. We've got QB10, of course. We have AB here as we get set for the Cougs against the Chippewas. We'll do a short segment, and then we'll talk to the Executive Director of the Sun Bowl. Live here, Bernie Olivas. We're excited to talk to Bernie. Pat, you hired Jake Dickert, as the full-time head coach. He's the guy. And now you have this bowl game, which has been put together with incredible effort in a really unique setting. Like you said, you play this bowl tomorrow, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, CBS time slot, right? Second oldest bowl ever, next to the Rose Bowl. Cougs against the Chippewas. Do you get a breath in a sense that Cougar football has some stability, some continuity moving forward? Is tomorrow the finish line for you?
Recruiting, January, we're so far behind. And Jake said this, and it's no secret. We're so far behind the 8 ball in recruiting right now. Now, what we did in a short period of time, and we decided, and Jake made it clear, we're not going to panic in recruiting, which I told him we can't. We got to, I think the good thing for all of us is we have enough data of what works here at Washington State. It goes to the Clay McGuire hire. Yeah. He's got quantifiable data of what kind of linemen and what Washington high schools and what they look like and how we can develop them into NFL players that can succeed at the high level. So we made it a conscious decision. We weren't going to panic. We know we have another stretch here where we're going to have to get the right student athletes. And I tell everyone, the thing that I lost in 4 years here is don't tell me we can't recruit to Washington State. I don't believe that anymore. Because I can't look at Todd Schulenberger. I can't look at Jen Greeny. Right. I can't look at Kyle Smith. I can't look at Brian Green. I can't look at Cammie Etheridge and say, wow, you guys recruited All-Americans, big Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, future pros, College Cup. We go to the NCAA tournament, and wow, people tell me you can't recruit to Pullman? Well, then something's not equating here because we got some of the best student athletes in the entire country right here wearing our jerseys right now. So I don't buy that anymore. That's just an excuse, or people out there that don't like us that put that out in the system. We put a coaching staff here that believes, we're not going to go. We know exactly. Kyle Smith knows exactly what he wants in a recruit. Jake, that coaching staff know exactly what they want. Cammie Etheridge, Jen Greeny, Todd Schulenberger has 7 draftees in 2 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Think about it. But he's got more than anyone else in college soccer because he knows exactly what kind of student athlete can succeed. We want Alex Brink. We want his DNA. That type of person, that type of championship, the guy who can lead, who can perform, who can, no matter what chips are in front of him. And I know, you never talk bad about your teams, but I've heard the struggles you've had. But the reality is we need more of those, and that's what we're going to go out and get. So as we go into recruiting, this is going to be tough, but the stability is key. And we think, and part of the reason when Kirk and Elizabeth and I sat down and we talked through, what we needed, and obviously Jake in the moment in real time was just, this is nothing short of extraordinary what happened here. But then you just see the leader. There is no substitute for leadership in organizations on what's going on at Washington State with what goes on in our football program. And you got to have a leader in that position who can mold other leaders so they're assistant coaches through the team. And I think what you saw by the end of the year is, it was awesome. He always gives, every coach gives a talk before we go on the bus. That's where the locker room talk happens. And we get in the room. Jake says 2 things and says, you know what, guys, I'm not saying anything. You guys are focused. Let's just get on the damn bus and kick the heck out of the Huskies, and they did. So, I mean, that's. I mean, we're going to keep growing our program. There's no finish line in athletic programs. It's why fundraising for our, indoor practice facility, Champion Center, like we got to keep reinvesting in this because we all know the responsibility here is we know how important athletics is to Washington State University. We know how, I take great pride in the fact that our winter, no matter what is going on in the Northwest, is going to be the shortest winter we've had in years because we beat the Huskies. And basketball is going to be so successful this year that on from Wednesday nights through Sunday when the women are done playing, the winter's going to be shorter because we're going to watch both the men's and women's teams have a lot of success this year. So I know long-winded, but excited.
Yeah, I love it. That's why we asked. There might be also like a little grad eligibility thing, by the way, with QB. I mean, we want.
We know he can make the grades. A lot of his teams. We know. I don't know if he can make the grades to get in, but we know he can make the grades.
He can't honors college.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a whole set of situations. Thank you, Pat.
Hey, real fast. I know Bernie Olivas is here. Bernie, thank you for everything the Sun Bowl has had. This has been an amazing week for Washington State football. And you guys, for those who don't know, the Sun Bowl goes above and beyond for everybody. And I tell everyone, when you use the word partner, and when we try to save this bowl game, I mean, it is a true partnership. It's, in talking with our leadership and talking with the Sun Bowl committee, this is the work of a lot of people. But Bernie, thank you for you and your team because you see, you love that. We're going to make you an honorary Coug when this is all said and done. You got no affiliations with the MAC, so you're going to be with us. Be with us this year.
Well, let's put him to work. Let's talk to him.
All right,
we'll get a heads up. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you, guys. Go Cougs.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's Pat Shun, our Director of Athletics. We'll take a break, come back. We'll get Bernie Olivas on live, the Executive Director of the Sun Bowl, next.
This Cougar football tailgating moment is brought to you by Canoe Ridge Vineyards, proud partner of Washington State University Athletics. For this week's bowl game matchup against Miami, smart Cougar tailgaters know to pair award-winning Canoe Ridge wines with a crowd-pleasing pregame meal. Your mealtime roster will score big points with Canoe Ridge wines backing it up. Canoe Ridge Vineyards, representing the best of award-winning Washington wines with more than 73 critical scores of 90-plus points. Come visit us at our Walla Walla tasting room or at canoeridgevineyard.com. Go Cougs!
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Cougar football.
Rolling right with the ball, going to throw the long ball down the middle, man open. Watch the end zone, leaping grab, touchdown, and the Palouse is going to pop.
Cougar football from Learfield.
The weather is changing, and now is the time to prepare your home for winter with some new energy-efficient windows from McVeigh Brothers. McVeigh Brothers specializes in top-rated Cornelane window series that has the newest technology to reduce your heat bills and the perfect replacement doors to secure your home. And right now, when you install 4 new quality windows, we'll give you the 5th window at 50% off.
McVeigh Brothers Siding and Windows, we're working for you.
Give us a call for your free quote today.
It's a new season. Get ready for more men's and women's college sports excellence. Trophies will be awarded in June to schools who take the top spot in the 2021-22 Learfield Directors Cup. The premier award recognizes one winning institution in all competitive divisions. Follow your favorite team's progress as seasonal standings are announced at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at directorscup.org. The crowning achievement in college athletics.
The difference in highs and lows are 30, 40 degrees sometimes.
Back here live, we're talking ball with our executive director of the Sun Bowl, Bernie Olivas. We got Alex Brink, yours truly here. And Bernie, we had a great time here in 2015, and I was excited when it was announced we were coming back here to the Sun Bowl to take on Miami. The one memory that I have of the 2015 game, aside from the win, was that it snowed.
Just a little bit.
It snowed during the Sun Bowl. And how long have you been in El Paso for, on a personal level?
I was born, raised, educated. I'm pretty sure I'm going to die here one of these years. But for right now, yes, I'm a native.
And how unique was the last Cougar football game here against the Miami Hurricanes?
Again, we're in the middle of the desert. but we got 5 inches of snow starting at halftime and ended with 5 inches of snow. It doesn't happen very often, but we do get an occasional snowfall in here, and it just happened to hit on the Sun Bowl day.
Amazing. How unique has this week been from the bowl perspective? Right, you had 2 teams. You have a contract with the Pac-12 and the ACC, and then Miami pulled out, and now you've been working with our director of athletics, Pat Chun, this week to secure Central Michigan. But what was that like from the Sun Bowl perspective?
Well, I'll be very honest. This might not have happened if it hadn't been for Pat. Pat was on that phone about as hard as I could ever see somebody work, and we worked it really hard. And I know he made tons of phone calls as I was trying to do them on the other side. And it's unfortunate that somebody's misfortune turned into our fortune in Tucson. We're all a big family, and we both lost a team, and it would have been devastating to have 2 bowls go dark. And I think we had the upper hand and got Central Michigan to come play in El Paso, and it's only a 4-hour drive down there, so it worked really well for us. And I think had Boise State not developed that that COVID problem, they would have played game. We would have gone dark for 2 years in a row, and I don't know if we could have sustained the bowl after that.
Right.
Last year, the city was one of the worst cities in the country when it came down to COVID, and this year we're one of the most vaccinated cities in the country now. So we went from one of the worst to one of the best. So it worked out really well. And like I said, when Miami. And I got to give Miami credit. They were very, very transparent in talking to us every day as to where the situation was. Until the very last day, it looked very positive that they were going to be here. And they sent their kids home for the holidays. And when they came back, they retested, and they just couldn't do it, which was pretty late because we found out as we're greeting the team, the Cougars.
Wow!
I'm walking out to the airplane to greet the Cougs, and I got a text saying, "Can you have a Zoom meeting in 20 minutes?" And I kind of felt that I kind of felt it coming, but by then almost all the teams that would have been available, had gone home. SMU was out there, and their game got canceled, but they dispersed their players, from them, so they were not available. And then we started calling every team that was on the APR list, and they had all disbanded and gone home for the holiday. So it was going to be Central Michigan or not.
Wow.
Well, on a positive note, as you think about the Sun Bowl, it is year in and year out one of the best bowl experiences there is. That's the reality of it. Talk about from your perspective, what you guys do for the players that are here, what Washington State's done since they've been here as players, and the experience they get to have through you guys.
I think we have some pretty good, very unique events here at the Sun Bowl, and a lot of people can. And of course, having Fort Bliss, as our next door neighbor, which is one of the largest Army bases in the world. But the first day, they get to pick their gifts, and we do it at the stadium where they actually look. They get to see the stadium, and they get to pick all their bowl gifts, and then they go to Topgolf. But the second night they're here, we take them out to Cattleman's Steakhouse, which is about 40 miles from here, and it looks like you're headed to Dallas or something because it's pretty dark. But it's a working ranch, and when they get off the bus, there's a side of beef on a spit, and they're cutting the meat right off the side of the beef as an appetizer.
Wow!
And then they get these giant beef ribs. They are huge. And that's the appetizer.
Yeah.
Then they walk in to get their steak dinner, and the steak dinner is 1.5 pounds. It's 1.5 pounds of beef. Are
they gonna be able to run them?
Yeah, we are.
We're gonna be all right.
So that's how we start them, and then actually the next night is our marquee event where we take them to Fort Bliss, and they invite us to Fort Bliss, and the players actually go. First of all, the first thing they do is they get to be with about 150 soldiers. And the neat thing about that is these soldiers are the same age as they are, and like the general said, you guys are going to do battle on the field on Friday afternoon, but the gentlemen you're sitting with are going to do real battle to preserve your freedom. And they're talking people of their same age.
Wow.
And then after, and they get to go into simulators where they're sitting in tanks and they're actually driving tanks and flying Blackhawks, and they're doing all, Humvees. They go to a shooting range and they get to fire, laser weapons and the thing. It's a tremendous experience for the players. They get to jump in and out of, the tanks, all kind, actual tanks that they put out there, and they have a great experience. And then from there, we take them into the big hall, and we have a big holiday dinner, and then we entertain them. And I think if you talk to the players, we bring in a hypnotist that is just tremendous with these kids, and they just have a super time. And that's an event they won't forget. Then we follow that up with just a good old barbecue, a Texas barbecue dinner, which is not even in Texas. This actually takes place in New Mexico, but it's all right. I don't know if you know. El Paso, we used to call El Paso the Twin Nation Vacation because obviously we're right next to, we're right there. Juarez, Mexico is right there.
Sure.
And El Paso sits at the intersection of 2 countries and 3 states. I don't know if you ever looked at the map.
Yeah.
But there's Texas, New Mexico, and Chihuahua, which is the state in Mexico that Juarez is in. So that's why that's where El Paso sits. So I live right in the middle of El Paso, but New Mexico is less than a half a mile from me. So it's a very unique place. I love the city. Like I said, I was born here, raised. It's a great place to raise kids, and El Paso has always been ranked as in the top 5 as the most safest cities in America, with a population of over 500,000. So we're a very, very safe city. So it's a great place to grow up. It's a place great to raise kids. Place great to go to school. So so the players, we try to give the players a pretty good experience of our culture here, whether it's Mexican food, whether it's it's big old steak, whether it's just a holiday dinner. And like I said, it's pretty unique, I think, the way we treat the players when they come here to El Paso.
Sounds delicious. Sounds great.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great week.
And other bowls in Florida and California, like I said, they have the beaches, and I tell people, we have a lot of beaches here. We just don't have the water. You want sand? We have sand. But we just don't have the water. But we have some tremendous people. Our people are some of the friendliest people you're ever gonna run into. And I love this place, and I love talking about it. I love promoting this city, and I hope the players really remember this trip.
Well, they won't forget it, and neither will we. And we're grateful to be here, and we are excited to have you here, and we want to thank you for your time and all of your efforts this week to make it happen, because that was in question, 72 hours ago?
That's exactly right. And like I said, they're talking about the bad weather. It can snow 12 inches right now. As long as we kick the ball off, right. I will be extremely happy.
No, that makes thousands of us. Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much. Thank you for having me, and good luck. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. That's Bernie Olivas, Executive Director of the Sun Bowl. We'll take a break. We're going to have on a Pro Bowler. We're going to have on Robbie Tobeck live here on the headset next. Here we are in El Paso, Texas.
Which would you rather be? An armchair quarterback or an on the edge of your cushy leather seat chair quarterback? Turf Club Sportsbook is now open at Northern Quest with the most modern, luxurious, and exciting sports wagering experience around. So you can bet, watch, and win like never before. Right here in the heart of the action. Turf Club Sportsbook, the ultimate game changer. Now open at Northern Quest.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Cougar football lives here.
Got the middle touchdown! 1 second left! Cougars on top!
On the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Alliant Employee Benefits is the Inland Northwest leader in employee benefit consulting and brokerage. Alliant is a difference maker, providing employee benefit solutions and problem solving while helping companies grow and protect their business. Alliant keeps its clients on the forefront of the benefit industry's constant evolution while improving the benefits experience for employees through better health outcomes and more cost-effective care. Give Alliant a call and see what they can do for you.
Time to bring the claws back out.
House call, pick 6 in the Apple Cup. Superman's in, touchdown. Jaden DeLora on the dime.
Jake Dickert and the Cougs wrap up the 2021 season on Friday in the Sun Bowl against Central Michigan.
Far side picked off, George Hicks. Max Borghi reaches for the lead.
Pre-game coverage starts at 7 a.m. with kickoff at 9 on your home for Cougar football. The Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
Back here live, we're talking ball with Robbie Tobeck and, of course, QB10 Alex Brink. We're getting set for the Sun Bowl against the Central Michigan Chippewas. Earn your bragging rights at Northern Quest. More slot machines, table games, restaurants, lounges, and luxury hotel rooms than anyone else in the region. Northern Quest, yes, the best. More at northernquest.com. All right, let's dive into it here with Robbie Tobeck, 14-year Pro Bowler, played in Super Bowls, and, of course, played in the Copper Bowl in 1992. Take us back. Let's go back in time. College days. College, right. You're blocking, for a certain QB here on the Palouse in 1992. You're playing in the Copper Bowl. Give me a bowl game memory if I can put you on the spot.
Well, the bowl game memory is how much fun we had that week. Coach Price back then. I was telling Pat Chun today that they had a bus that went around and took us to all the bars, and just made sure, we stayed out of trouble and stuff like that. So we spent the week partying. Utah was doing two-a-days, all this stuff. They were grinding hard, and we ran into a couple of their guys. And like, man, that's too bad, guys. And then we got out to a 21-0 lead, and then ran out of gas, and it ended up being a close game at the end. Of course, we got the W, but it was a lot closer than it should have been.
But how about that? It's the good old days.
I love
the good old days.
You can't do those things now. I remember Coach McDonnell, who was Yarno and McDonnell were our O-line coach. I don't know if you got to know Mac at all.
No, Coach Yarno was with me.
But McDonnell chasing me. I stole a golf cart, and I was driving around our resort, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, something like that. And the horn broke on it, so every time I turned left, the horn would go off. Well, I kept having to make a lot of left turns, and I could hear Mac, I know it's you, Toback. But he never could catch us. It was a good time.
I love it. I love it. And now I know you have a relationship with Clay McGuire, who's returned now as the Cougar O-line coach. How connected do you generally feel as, you're a Cougar ambassador and a longtime NFL pro? You're in the region, you're here in El Paso, and now you're connected still with the O-line coach here for the Cougs.
Well, number one, I'm a fan. When I left this place, I became a fan of this place, and so I love coming back, and I love giving back and being a part of things and stuff like that. And then when Clay was here under Leach's staff, I got to know him a little bit, and God bless the guy. He never was an O-line coach. Leach hires him to be an O-line coach. He did a great job for us, So I had a couple, we kind of had a couple chalk talks and had some sessions, got opportunity to get to know each other a little bit. And then crazy how the coaching world works. My son ends up being on staff with him at Texas State a couple years ago. So, got reconnected with him again there, and then, got the great news that he was getting rehired and coming back here. And so I'm really excited to have Clay. And you look at some of the guys we've put in the NFL lately off our offensive line, some of the guys we're going to put in the NFL next year off our offensive line, and that's a direct result of Clay McGuire and the guys he recruited.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you, and I think everybody needs that. I don't think people quite understand how unique that is. Obviously, you did it, but to have Andre and now Abe and some of the other guys that are, Joe Dahl and some of the other guys that have done it, how unique that is from Washington State to have that run of offensive linemen, and a credit to Clay McGuire and Mason Miller and to do that. I don't know that we step back always and appreciate what that is.
Well, I look at some of the quarterback success, going back to Luke Falk and then Gordon after him and this year and stuff. And there's some times that, you play quarterback, so you know what it's like when you're back there patting the ball. And, these guys have had some time to throw the football the last couple years. Yeah. And so, me watching, I appreciate that. And I say, hey, this is because of you guys when I've had a chance to talk to some of these guys. And so I can appreciate how hard it is to do what they've done and how successful they've been against the level of competition they've had. But there were only a handful of us that from Washington State that played in the NFL as offensive linemen from Washington State. And since Clay got here under Leach, they've had a handful that have done it just under Clay and Coach Leach, and now this new regime. So there's a lot to be said for the success that they've had in a short time compared to looking back over time, with the Cougar program in general.
What's this week been like? I got the sense you were coming down, no matter what.
Right.
You were coming down here, and then Miami, and how do you feel about everything that's been going on this week? And now Central Michigan is the opponent in the Sun Bowl, a chance to win 8 games, and Jake Dickert, and there's been a lot going on with the program.
Well, for me, coming down here was more a part of, what this team's been through. I felt like I owed it to these guys to watch them play one more time. Because this team's been really special to me. You talk about the Rose Bowl teams and all these great teams we've had in Cougar history, but this team's been through more than any team in history. We lose our coach in the middle of the year. We've got an interim guy who earns the job and deserves the job, and I'm behind him 100%. I can't wait to see what he does over time here. And then and these guys have never quit fighting. They've never quit battling. They've won some great games. They won an Apple Cup. They did all these things that we've asked them to do, so I felt like I owed it to them to be down here one more time. And I remember you talk about the Copper Bowl. I look back, I see guys over here, Tim and Reed, and these guys over here in this corner. I remember being back in the Copper Bowl and seeing these guys at the Copper Bowl, and here we are.
I love
I don't know, it's at least 10 years ago, right? They're still here, right?
Awesome.
So awesome. I mean, that's why I feel like I need to be here and give back to these guys the way that those guys gave to me.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Robbie, thank you for this time. I got to put you on the spot for one NFL question.
Sure.
You caught a touchdown.
Yes.
You caught one touchdown. Take me through that. As an offensive lineman, you caught a TD, and I need to know what happened.
Well, we're in the run and shoot offense. June Jones is our coach. I was starting at left guard, right? And we did not have a tight end on. We had one tight end on the roster. We're going to use the tight end a lot this week. We're playing the Steelers. He shows up to the game with back spasms, can't even walk.
Oh, no.
And so I'm the left guard. The coach comes up to the game, hey, you're playing tight end today. What do you mean? And he literally draws up the routes, gives them to me before the game. And so we go out there, and I'm running around to start the game at left guard. Next play, we drive all the way down the field on the Steelers. And we get to the line. Bobby Hebert is our quarterback, and he calls a play, and I'm like, this play wasn't on the sheet, right? I don't know what
you don't know what to do.
So I'm Bobby, what do I do? And he goes, just go to the corner. And I'm like, okay. So I kind of fake like I'm blocking, a little play action deal, and I start drifting off to the corner. Well, no one covers me. Everyone covers Jamal Anderson up in the at the pylon. No one covers me. And Bobby throws the ball, and I remember everything is slow motion, and I'm going, oh crap, I'm in the wrong spot.
Oh no,
and then I'm like, no, he threw that to me. I'm gonna go ahead and catch it, and I catch the ball, and so that but then the next that was fun, the touchdown. But all us Cougs here, we know who Mark Fields is, and Mark played for the Saints. A couple later on that season, I caught a ball on Mark Fields.
Did you?
And got the enjoyment of dropping the ball on him and telling him he couldn't cover me. So that was the catch that was a little more fun.
I love it. I love it. I'm glad I asked. Thank you, Robbie. This is awesome. This is awesome. Great to have him on. Robbie Tovek on the headset here, getting set for the Sun Bowl. We'll take our final break. We'll come back, put a bow on it next. Cougs against Central Michigan coming up.
The weather is changing, and now is the time to prepare your home for winter with some new energy-efficient windows from McVay Brothers. McVay Brothers specializes in top-rated Cornelane window series that has the newest technology to reduce your heat bills and the perfect replacement door to secure your home. And right now, when you install 4 new quality windows, we'll give you the 5th window at 50% off.
McVay Brothers Siding and Windows, we're working for you.
Give us a call for your free quote today.
It's time to bring the big game to your backyard. With battery power made by Steel. Our AK Homeowner Series battery tools start at just $199.99. Find yours at over 10,000 local dealers. Steel is a proud supporter of your Washington State Cougars. Real Steel. Find yours. All prices S&W SRP.
This is the Washington State Sports Network from Learfield.
If a buried natural gas pipeline is leaking outside your home, you may see dead vegetation, hear a hissing noise, or smell it. Because Avista adds a rotten egg scent that's easily detectable. If so, get far away and call 911 and Avista. And if you ever smell a natural gas leak indoors, get everyone outside fast. Don't flip light switches, use a cell phone, or do anything to cause a spark. Go somewhere safe, like a neighbor's house. Then call 911 and Avista. We just want you to be safe.
When you set up a savings goal with U.S. Bank, it grows with you. There's no limit to what you can crochet. Can do. Doesn't have to be crocheting, but it totally could be. Like the headphones you're listening to this ad with, you could totally crochet those. There's no telling where your savings goal will take you. Maybe you'll save enough for yarn to crochet your house or the whole town. Oh, right. Doesn't have to be crochet related.
Set up savings goals on the U.S. Bank mobile app, even for the wildest of dreams. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back here live, we're talking ball here in El Paso, Texas, getting set for the Sun Bowl. Cougs against Central Michigan. All kinds of connections in this game that you wouldn't really expect. You've got Jim McElwain, the head coach. He played for Eastern Washington. He was the quarterback in Cheney as a college player. The defensive coordinator for Central Michigan was your defensive coordinator, was our defensive coordinator when you were slinging the rock. You know Rob Akey, the DC. What's Coach Akey like?
Coach Akey is the best. Anybody that knows Coach Akey knows he's the best. High energy. He's a great defensive football coach. I mean, he left Washington State, went to Idaho, was the head coach of Idaho, took them to a bowl game, which is obviously hard to do at U of I, and did a good job there, and then went on and coached in the NFL for a handful of years, and he's been at Central Michigan. And, you look at this defense, I mean, it's a good football team, and they are really good against the run. They struggle against the pass to some degree, but you kind of look at that roster, and they've caused some problems in the MAC. And so I think it's going to be a matchup. He's going to be motivated. He's a guy that likes to bring pressure, and so he's going to try and heat it up a little bit, I would bet, from his standpoint. And so I'm excited to see him on the sideline and exchange stories, but it's special. Like you said, a lot of connections.
Yeah, his son's a grad assistant on the Cougar staff. I want to peel it back for a second, and I didn't know this till we just were off air. You know Eric Morris from the CFL.
Yeah, Eric Morris. So Eric Morris, our new offensive coordinator, was a receiver at Texas Tech, played in the CFL for a year or two. We crossed paths there, but then as he was finishing his career, he obviously hooked on with Washington State. 2012 was the inside receiver coach for the Cougs with Mike Leach, and during that year I got to kind of connect with him a little bit, and so I'm super fired up to see Coach Morris back in Pullman. I think that's one of those hires that a lot of people maybe don't understand the impact of it, right? I mean, he was an co-offensive coordinator for Texas Tech with Cliff Kingsbury. He developed Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he was the guy that recruited him and brought him to Texas Tech, and ultimately, obviously Mahomes had a ton of success, and so learned with Cliff Kingsbury, has been at Incarnate Word, and they've been one of the best offenses in the country in the FCS, and now he's coming back to Pullman to run the air raid, but a kind of modified version of it. Tight ends will be used. The running game's more balanced. It is the best version, in my opinion, of the offense we want to run in Pullman, and I'm very excited that he's back.
Well, it's going to be love that. I didn't know your connection, and I didn't know your knowledge of him. So, I don't know. It just seems going to be really fun. It's just a fantastic hire.
Yeah, good fit.
Jake Dickert, had the perspective to reach back in time just a few years and say, well, that worked, and let's try that again. And Jaden DeLora was recruited. A lot of the Juvensley Bazille we'll see tomorrow was recruited in the air raid. Jaden DeLora was recruited in the air raid. I mean, we're not that far removed from it.
No, it fits the personnel very well. I mean, it is kind of a plug-and-play sort of aspect. And like I said, we saw it during the early signing period. We signed a tight end for the first time in a long time, Andre Dollar, I think is his name. And I think so that's going to be a little bit of a change. But other than that, I mean, the pieces are on this roster to come back and have a very successful offensive football team. And then defense, right? You have Jake Dickert as your head coach, but then you hire a new defensive coordinator that has had a connection with Coach Dickert. And so there's going to be a lot of synergy there also.
How about Renard Bell back next year in the slot at the air raid?
Fun,
yeah, one of the top returning players this year got hurt, which breaks the heart, but he's back. And then, my gosh, he started, I think he was here when Clay McGuire was here.
Right.
It's like it just comes full circle for him. Yeah. This is a big one tomorrow. You get a chance to look back in time in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, right? And you look back and you say, how about that 8-win Pack team, right? How about that 8-win Coug team? Chance to get to 8 against a really good Central Michigan team that has won 6 of 7 games.
Yeah, there's bowl games are interesting, right? Because they don't obviously they don't have a ton of significance when it comes to anything. It's the end of the year; it's over. If you're not in the playoff, it doesn't matter in general. But the reality is, for some teams, it does matter, right? And I look at the Pac-12, for instance, teams like Oregon and Oregon State that lose their bowl games, that impacts their offseason significantly.
Sure.
And so for Washington State, I think this is a great opportunity because we get this chance to build off the momentum to finish the end of the year and head into the offseason. You heard Pat Chun talk about recruiting, right? The next recruiting cycle is coming up here on the first week of February. So if you win tomorrow, you have momentum heading into the last month of recruiting, and you kind of build this recruiting class out. So I think there's a lot to play for. I think the kids are motivated. You heard the excitement, you heard Pat talk about the excitement the kids had to be here, and they get to have an opponent. And Central Michigan's good. There's no doubt about that. And so I think this team is going to have to come out and play hard tomorrow.
Huge thanks to everybody who's here at Rogers Depot from start to finish, and for everybody we saw on the front end. Great to see everybody. Thanks to Robbie Tobeck. Thanks to Bernie Olivas, of course, to Pat Chun, to UAB, QB10, and to Jerry Kylo for getting us on the air. He worked so hard. He's going to be in the booth tomorrow at the crack of dawn to get us on the air. Can't wait. Local time, 10 a.m. kick. 8 a.m. airtime, Derek Dice, Billy Newman, Grady Emerson back in Spokane. And a huge shout out to Jess, who couldn't make it. She's a little under the weather. Her flights got all blown out. She was coming from the East Coast. So we want to give Jess a big shout out. Tomorrow, big one, Central Michigan. Thanks for tuning in. Go Cougs.